Hey there everybody, Pop on Top here. Welcome back to some more Fallout 4 mods. In today's mod, we got a texture mod here, or texture mod pack. This is Flaconoils. It's hard to say. My brain is dumb, and it's probably dyslexic because I read it as Flaconoil, even though it's Flaconoil. Flaconoil 1K retexture. So what this mod does is it attempts to retexture everything. It's a 500 megabyte mod. It's pretty big, but considering it's texturing everything, it makes sense. Now, what this mod does is it changes or enhances the detail of textures to be nicer. Now that obviously looks low resolution, this particular texture we're close up to here, but it is rustier looking. Like the things are, you could definitely tell these bricks on this particular red rocket are different looking. I'm not sure if it affects character textures or anything, or if it's just like some of this landscape stuff does look different. Like all these, like it just looks like sharp to a degree too. I don't know what it is about it, but like it looks like sharper than it usually is. I don't know, like this particular texture on this generator looks way different. We're gonna obviously make some comparison shots. I will cut away and then, you know, switch it up and stuff, but like there's definitely things that look different, right? Like I could tell, ooh, the freeze, it's okay. Like the wood texture that, like I said, sharper would be the word for it. These tires got like dirt and mud in them. Those don't normally have dirt and mud in them. Now obviously because they're 1K textures, 1K retexture, it's not like the highest resolution textures in the world, but it's supposed to be immersive and look pretty nice. Now I do think it looks somewhat nice. It's conflicting with my brain a little bit because I'm just so used to like the default textures, and we'll compare these directly. I'm looking at these trees, I'm looking at everything, and I think anything even in this texture pack close up doesn't hold up super duper well, but it does seem to perform smoothly. I don't seem to indicate like, oh, you know, these textures make things feel weird or not run right or whatever. Like it doesn't seem to affect grass textures either. Like I'm trying to figure out what exactly textures it does mess with and doesn't. It does seem to be more static elements. Like I don't know if this hub flower got upgraded in its texture quality, right? Like it's one of those things, right? Like it's like the freezes are not because of the texture mod. That's still the next gen update. The tree, that does look different, right? It looks like it's got some different shit on there. These tires do have mud on there. I'm trying not to investigate Concord too much. Okay, don't worry about it. The motorcycle texture should be nicer. The car texture, it does, but like at close up, it does look soft, right? You can see that when you get a little close to it. Like from far enough away, like right here, about this distance, it looks fine. It looks like a totally normal thing. I have my flashlight on so you can get a little bit of illumination on those textures. But like the closer you get to them, like if you're like right up in here, you can see like the little jagged lines in the texture, which would imply that it is not quite high resolution, right? This looks like you can see like little fine details on there, but if the fine details are not high resolution, then it won't hold up under scrutiny. I do think it looks somewhat nice. It does, like, I want to look at it comparatively. Like I've spent, you know, a fair amount of time in this game. I'm well over 1,000 hours in Fallout. I know some of you are gonna say that you got way more. The teeter-totter physics. Anyway, you guys call those teeter-totters? I know some people call it some weird shit that's not like teeter-totters. I don't know what y'all doing. But like, I imagine it applies to a lot of different textures here. And it's a tough thing to show off every texture, especially when the next gen update still makes my game freeze. There's definitely mud in those tires though. That was not there before. I don't know if these mud fruit or whatever. Mud fruit, right? Mud fruit? I don't remember what the name technically of those things is. But those little textures, the car texture definitely seems enhanced. Like in terms, oh my goodness, dude. I don't like people's solution to that too. They're like, hey, you know how you can make your game freeze less after the next gen update? Just like don't have a bunch of mods on there. Okay, dog, I just won't cover mod anyway. Yeah, that's definitely like it's like got more detail, but it looks sharper because I think like the detail is there, but the resolution is low, so it makes the textures look really sharp because it's rough. Like I said, I was talking about like there's jagged lines to appear. I mean, I'm not even playing on a high resolution display right now. I don't really care about resolution in the slightest, like even me personally. But I can definitely tell that these textures are not like they're nicer, but they're lower resolution. It seems like than the base game textures. Now that might mean that the game actually runs better to a certain degree. I don't think the textures are the reason that the game runs bad. I want to put that energy out there though. I don't think that that's, you know, related at all. Like you can see. Synth, really, huh? It's a weird thing to spawn in here. Does the synths look nicer? I mean, kind of, right? Like, but at the same time, not. It's so weird. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like that. It looks like it's more detailed, but because the resolution is so low, I don't know if you guys can get this coming across in the video or nothing either, though. But like, it's sharper, right? Like, even the weapon here. It's supposed to mess with a lot of things. Some textures are supposed to be 4K, some textures are supposed to be 2K. Depends on the size of the texture and stuff, right? Like, and it's all handmade, which is very cool. It's lore friendly as well, so it's not supposed to like make anything look different. It's both. I mean, I think it does look like, look at that bed. Like, you can, it definitely looks more like a physical object in the world, right? There's like more like the texture to it. Like, that's the whole deal. That's textures, right? The texture makes it look more physically like it's existing in the space. Like, look at that little the texture here on this toolbox even looks real nice, right? Like, I wonder if you could look at something here. Like, if I looked at this duct tape in my inventory. Or this desk fan, right? Like, every little object looks like it has some work done to it, but that, like, look, it has so like, you can't even see that you can see at certain angles that fan's got like grooves on it, but like from this angle, it just is lower resolution. Like, so like you're changing all your textures to lower resolution. I'm just seeing if the duct tape looks better, right? Like, does the duct tape look better, right? Like handcuffs, like you'd think that the handcuffs would be really sharp and fine, like you'd have more like detail. You can see, okay, the big one, the Pip-Boy here. The Pip-Boy is all rusted out to shit. Like, that's part of the deal. Now, I guess that makes sense, right? The Pip-Boy's been sitting there on the ground. I believe that Pip-Boys are designed not to rust. Like, if you looked at Fallout New Vegas, the Securitrons don't rust, right? Like, and that's Robco technology, so Pip-Boy is Robco technology. I don't think this thing would rust over time, but it does look super duper rusty in my character's hands, right? Like, and like I said, almost sharp, because like the texture is so nice, but like I said, low resolution. It's a complicated deal. Now, I don't think it should be high resolution. I think that'd make the game run worse. Like I said, this car from far away looks nicer. Like, this looks nicer, but if you get real close to it, you're like, wait a minute, that's just kind of real splotchy looking, right? It does have more detail, but at a lower resolution. It's a weird combination, I think. Like, I do think generally the game looks nicer with this on. Obviously, 500 megabytes is a lot of space to ask from anybody, and it's not something I particularly can afford to necessarily have on my game for a long period of time. I just need more space to cover mods, right? Like, I got to. But this does look nice. Look at little seats in here. Like, please don't kill me, car, though. I'd appreciate that. That'd be really cool. I mean, I'm trying to look at a variety of different things. Like, obviously, I don't know, like, what exactly even is coverage as the texture in the game. There's a stop sign there. Like, you can see, like, it's like blurry almost. It's like fine. It's like sharp but blurry when you get close to it. It's a weird thing. Even the ghouls close, right? Like, it's just a weird thing. It's a weird set of circumstances. Discover the location. We'll talk about this mod soon. I'm gonna get to it. I pinky promise. I pinky promise you, whatever the mod is that added that. But you can even see the rusted out Pip-Boy textures on your wrist here. So what I'm gonna do. And I'm going to quickly go back to Red Rocket. Now, obviously, we haven't gone too in-depth. I'll go more in-depth into detail later in the video. But we're going to quickly switch back and give you a quick comparison. And then we'll go back to the texture pack being on. And we'll see. We'll just do a little comparison together. We'll walk through it, and I'll talk about it. Okay? See you in a little bit. All right, everybody. Here we are. We got the texture pack installed. Let me just put some clothes on real quick, just to make sure I am kidded. The Pip-Boy obviously looks way different. It's still rusted, I guess. It does have the rust texture on there, but the rust is like, it no longer like pops out of it. Right? Like, you can see, like, this is not, it's not dull is the right word, because I think the texture mod is kind of dull in a way. It's just a weird, it's hard to describe. Right, I'm trying to use my best language words, but like, we'll take a quick look at some of these things for sure. Some of these things you can tell right away, right? Like, so if we look at this, we looked at this generator. Now, this generator it just looks different. It almost looks like an entirely different generator. Now, the textures here are still kind of muddy when you get really close to them. I think that's just the cost. The bricks look much less defined, right? Like I said, like talking about that sharpness and stuff, right? Like, the rust is still here. It doesn't really change the texture of anything. It just makes it's sharper. Like, more defined, I guess I should say. Like, if we look at these tires over here, we were talking about this, we're going to kind of go on similar paths. I think that barrel looks the same. Same freezing spot, though. See, the texture mod is able. It still is a thing. Yeah, that wood looks softer, right? Like, and the like, reflectiveness on it. I guess there is dirt on these tires. I just never noticed this much. Like I said, like, I think it actually just makes you notice the things in the textures more. Like, the rust, the apparent mess of things. My fruit look any different? I guess it does look worse. Like, maybe I don't know what textures look like. I played the game for thousands of hours, but it does look sharper. I think overall. I think we're gonna keep looking at some things here. We went over this way. I'm trying to like go along a similar path, and then look at the textures. Like, I guess it is really soft. I'm surprised by how soft the textures are. Maybe that's been since the next gen update or something. But like you can't even see like the fine details of this wood here, and the car and the motorcycle we had here, right? Like, turn the flashlight back on. Like, there's something different too about like I believe the reflections in the way that they're handled and stuff. Like this color is definitely just as rusted, but it seems rustier. Like I don't know if that makes any sense. Like same thing with this pole here, right? We took this one on the ground, right? Like that looks. I mean, even that texture on that looks not nearly as good. Now, obviously, like I said, huge mod in terms of its file size and the space that it takes up and stuff, right? But it does seemingly enhance the textures in a way, not your personal preference on whether you like that or not. And like I said, I haven't really felt a performance negative because of it. Obviously, my shadows are doing weird things. Playing on performance mode, I'm really just trying to get the highest FPS possible. If I could run the game at 240 frames per second, I would. But yeah, it looks so. This textures I think do hold up better at close range. Like, but it's just kind of the same. Like it just always is like the same kind of leveling of textures. It's still freezing. Yep, stutter me out, baby. Fucking next gen update. Like, obviously I have road textures. These are my road textures. Like these are different, right? So like it's a weird thing about like how things mix and match with each other and stuff too, right? Like obviously if you have other texture mods that can cause kind of weird issues and stuff when you're trying to blend them together and all that stuff. I'm trying to follow with some of. I think we went down here. We killed those synths down here. They should still be dead, right? Like that, unless they respawn. And we could look at some of that stuff and stuff too. But the cars look like it does look different. Would I say better? I mean, it's a personal preference thing on what you think looks better. I definitely think this, it looks, I don't know, softer, right? Like, but like always, like just the regular default textures don't really look any different closer than far away. They just always look soft, right? Like these synths and stuff, right? Like they're definitely, but it's the same. I haven't really noticed anything crazy in its differences. But the difference I notice is that like the things stand out to me more with the texture pack installed, right? Like or on. It's currently installed still, but just not on. But like, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so like it's a deal where like all this rust and stuff exists on all these things. It just doesn't become so apparent. Look how bad the shadows are on this performance mode on the next gen update. We used to have better performance. Let's just FPS boost. I hate this. Well, ham radio there. Like some of these like almost everything kind of has like a glossy appearance to it here, vanilla style, and it's a lot like everything just looks shiny almost in its sense, right? Like we were looking around over all these things here. There was not robots here last time. Hostile. No, Sparky, you my friend. That's fine. Kill the ghouls. Looking at this desk and stuff here, right? Like the wooden textures here. I don't know. Like, like the Kim boxes, all the little coolers and stuff. I guess we have to do the test. We were looking at what junk in my inventory here too, like the fan. I mean, I guess the fan doesn't actually look too much different. I think the fan isn't changed as much as I thought it was. I just remember the fan looking better, or the duct tape and stuff like that. Maybe small textures here aren't really, I mean, they might be changed, but it might not just be something that you can really notice too much. We're going to reapply the mod, go around and look at some more textures, and I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, everybody, back here with the textures installed. Applied is what I meant, but I said implied because it's installed and applied at the same time. But yeah, it's like, it's sharper, right? Like everything is kind of enhanced a little bit. Now I don't know if you personally like that necessarily, right? Like I think it like can at times blend worse, right? If that makes sense. If you understand what I'm throwing down there. Like I'm trying to look for every little fucking detail things. The Pip-Boy, like particularly, like the rust on this is harsh. It definitely looks way more rusty on this, even though I believe it's just the same, just like enhanced, right? Like it's just like some of these textures look really good. I think 500 megabytes is a lot of space to ask to take up for a mod, right? Obviously, something that's going to enhance every texture of the game is something that's probably worth doing that with, right? Just trying to look at the ghouls, the cow, everything. We're trying to look as many things as possible. Obviously, there's like, thousands of textures in this game, and there's no way in a reasonably timed video that I'm going to show them all off, but the ghoul clothes look like I said, like sharper. That's the word I would use for it, right? Like, but also, like this, I don't remember the game looking like. I could just walk around and talk about how things don't look. This train cars don't look the same. The ghoul clothes don't look the same. The ghouls themselves, like let's see some skin texture, baby. No, skin texture. I didn't want you. I didn't want you either. Justice. The name of the gun while I'm laying down here. I'm trying to look at the ghoul skin. I'm trying to look at your skin. Obviously, like I said, mix and match with textures. I have road textures already installed. Like that's one of the few things I think needs to look a lot nicer in the game. Is that clothes texture enhanced? That's kind of wigging out. You see that, like, guys, like, little shoulder part? I mean, that's just because I'm carrying a body. But it does, I think it does look sharper and nicer. I think these textures, like, when I first installed the mod, I actually thought it looked bad. Kind of. Like, it looked, I thought it made it look worse, but actually, looking at it now, we saw one of these play structures earlier, these steps were not very defined and stuff, right? Like, I think, yeah, there's definitely, like, and the way the reflections are hitting it are different, right? The way the lighting, everything doesn't necessarily have that glossy look to it. I think, like I said, I think really close up, these new textures don't look, I don't know if I want to say as good, because they might actually look better even. Because apparently I don't know what the base game textures look like anymore. But I do think there's definitely things about this mod that make it look nice. And it doesn't apply to everything. These are my road textures. These road textures look really nice. It's been out of my way to make it. I think roads are the important part of the game. But like this car, I think does look nicer. I think the effects look better, right? Like now, obviously this could be different if you run on the game on quality mode or performance mode. I suppose we should turn quality mode on just to see if that looks any different. We'll see. I'll see you guys in a second. So I have what's called visuals mode on. I guess I thought it was quality mode, performance mode, quality mode. That's what I always think of. But this is visuals mode on. I'm going to have worse performance, though. I hate that. But I'm just seeing if I notice the textures being sharper. Because like technically I believe the game would run at a higher resolution, but it shouldn't really affect the textures anyway. I'm going to deal with fucking mole rats here, though. Starlight. Hi. You kind of look different. I guess. It's hard to tell. I don't think it's super duper apparent regardless. I noticed my character's hands look fucking crazy, but like that's a weird vibe. My character's skin texture look insane. The shadows should look better, right? Like that's the thing I think that we get with visuals mode at the cost of performance. But yeah, these textures look essentially identical. See how sharp that is? Like even there's like not really like a texture there. It looks like there is. Like it looks like it's like a rough surface. Like you could touch it. You ever touch the rusty thing? Obviously you shouldn't touch rusty stuff. Like that's how you get the what's it fuck? I think you gotta get a shock or tetanus. That's the one. That's the one. You get the tetanus. But you touch rusty things, you can almost like see the texture of all the rust and the stuff with this particular mod on. Now, obviously, if you run quality mode, you're allowed to do that. I don't think it changes the quality of these textures. I suppose we should compare. I don't think the quality. I think the textures are the same. Open my fucking door. The textures are the same on quality mode and performance mode. I'm just seeing if it looked any different, and it doesn't seem to. Like this shelf here, like the defined little rivets here, they look sharper and more defined, right? The duct tape really doesn't look that much different. Maybe it is slightly better textures. Like the workbenches look kind of crazy though, right? Like you can see this, like all the little scratches and grooves in them just look more defined. I guess that's the way I would put it. You guys let me know what you think of Flaconoils. What a hard Flaconoil. I don't know why I want to say Flaconoil. Flaconoil's 1K retexture of everything. Now obviously I haven't shown off everything. Somebody's gonna leave a comment anyway and be like, it's a fucking bad video. Whatever, man. You're allowed to have your opinions. Why you watch it if you didn't like it? But I do think it is better. Now, obviously, I gotta turn this radio off. You can beat me, blow me up. I don't give a fuck. You think I give a shit? I gotta turn the radio off. Copyright claims are way more worried about than my character taking some damage. But I do think it's better. I do think it's got a certain look to it that makes it look nice. And now my performance is way worse. This visuals mode is not the way that I want to play the video game. I could feel it as I turn the camera on. I think the textures are good. I think like really close up, like that you lose that sharpness, that definition. It just kind of like starts to mold together. But like I think the textures aren't very good, as good as I remember anyway. Looking at things, you guys let me know what you think. Do you think the textures look nice? Hopefully it came through in the YouTube video. But I do think like looking at this car, like about this range, it looks good. But like if you get right up in it, you're like, oh damn, that's muddy. It's just especially because like Fallout 4 is old now, right? It's like about 10 years old or some shit, something like that. It's a long time, and obviously Gears have come out there since then. I mean, it didn't have the best texture quality at the time, but even then, like you can only do so much. I think it's a good mod. You guys should tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Is it something you're interested in? Do you care what your textures look like? Do you have a different texture mod you want me to check out or anything like that? Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you guys do want to check out this mod for yourselves, there'll be a link to it in the top of the description, both the Bethesda.net page and the Nexus mod page. You can download this mod for yourselves there. If you guys have enjoyed the video, like the video. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. That way you can check out more videos from me. And pretty much other than that, you guys have a good rest of your day, whatever it may be, and I will see you in the next episode.